began to blink because the light hurt my eyes. It had been 4 years since they came into power. I was dizzy, and my head was empty. Since 2016, we hadn't stopped shivering. They didn't listen to the answers, or at least didn't seem to. It was terrifically cold. We shivered all night, and it was no better during the day. Our faces were too thin. Fear and suffering had disfigured us, twisting our features. We'd never be young again, even if they were to let us go. We had turned gray. Our faces and hands looked rotten. We had the whole election to understand. 4 years ago, I was in an almost pathological state of terror. My rage and shame were wiped out. I began to think about the past. There were good times and bad times. There were faces and incidents. I had taken everything as seriously as if I were immortal. I had been with him for years. Yesterday I would have given an arm to see him for 5 minutes. Today I had no more desire. I had nothing more to say. I wouldn't even want to hold him in my arms. My body filled me with horror, and I wasn't sure his wouldn't either. I thought of his soft, beautiful eyes, his warm lips. When he looked at me, something passed from him to me, but I knew it was over. If he looked at me now, the look would stay in his eyes. It wouldn't reach me. I was alone. We were all alone. Our existence was a threat, a bloodless shadow. Life was worth nothing because it was finished. I wanted to tell myself it was beautiful, but I couldn't pass judgment. It was only a sketch. I had spent my time counterfeiting eternity. I had understood nothing. I missed nothing. Death had disenchanted everything. Everything was more obliterated, less dense than usual. Several hours or several years of waiting is all the same when you've lost the illusion of being eternal. I clung to nothing. In a way, it was calm. But it was a horrible calm. I saw with my eyes, I heard with my ears, but they were no longer mine. My body sweated and trembled by itself, and I didn't recognize it anymore. I had to touch it and look at it to find out what was happening, as if it were the body of someone else. I felt sinking and falling as when you're in a plane taking a nosedive. I felt my heart beat, but that didn't reassure me. I felt the floor and it was wet. I didn't know if it was sweat or urine. The men who had come into power 4 years ago had seemed shocking and burlesque to me. I couldn't put myself in their place. I thought they were insane. They thought we were subhuman. I smiled, thinking of the spectacle they would continue to make. I felt stunned and malicious. I imagined them lifting up tombstones, opening up the doors of the vaults one by one, knocking down our front doors and taking more of us from our homes. Night surrounded us like a shapeless, somber mass. I couldn't even remember that it had begun. It had been 4 years since the election. Everything began to spin, and I found myself sitting on the ground. I laughed so hard I cried.
day forward, it's going to be America first. America first. A new vision will govern our land. From this day forward.